Hello and welcome. I am No Coffee, No Life, and you might be wondering why I'm staring down into Crater. It's because today we're going to be working with a site that's a pre-existing location, and it's fairly developed. So if you're looking for a place that you can build your camp with minimum amount of time, this is definitely it, because you're going to get this lovely ramshackle cabin slash former raider home. And it comes with free raider power armor. So, let's get started. So I'm going to show you what I did with the extension to the original shack. And a lot of the things that I do here for this extension, you're going to see in effect in the outlying building that I build on this site. I'm not going to go over that building because it's pretty standard. It's using the same things I'm going to show you here. I'm just putting my foundations as close as I can to the side of the shack. Obviously, the exterior walls are going to collide with any walls that I put or try to snap to the foundations, so I'm not really going to try to snap them. And you'll see here, I'm putting these walls up, but that one will snap, and the next one can, but it'll block the doorway. So I've decided to change things up a bit. I didn't think that a full walls would look great against this shack, which is why I'm switching to half for the majority. I'm gonna leave one full wall, but before I do, I'm gonna slip this defensive wall in and set it so that it's sticking out about as much as that half wall. And then I'm going to destroy it and then place my full wall back in that area and repair the defensive wall. Because I don't want just the wall, a full wall there. I want it to have this about as much texture as the original shack. And it does work. Any of these defensive walls that you destroy, and then slap a full wall will give you that kind of built up wall instead of having just a standard wall. And I'm going to put these signs and then do the same thing again, just so that I can have some variation with these half walls, so that they're also not just a standard half wall or two half walls slapped up against one another, just something a little different. I'm going to use the backs of these filing cabinets to give this half wall a little bit of detail. You'll see it'll come back in, and there we go. It's like some metal plates have been attached to the exterior of the metal wall. And yeah, I got rid of the full wall there, and I'm going to put a half wall on the side. I'm going to eventually close that front end with a gate because I want it closed, because there are mobs that spawn in the front of this shack and actually inside of the shack. So if you're building here, be aware of that you are going to have mobs show up. I'm putting two defensive walls here because, like I said before, I can't really put walls up against this portion of the shack because they will collide with the exterior wall, and we don't want that. We want to have a wall here so that I have a little hallway that will eventually be enclosed with the roofs that I put on. And I get a little half wall out in the porch area, because you'll see later I'm not able, because of collisions, to put a roof in the corner of that back area. I'm going to close this area, burn it, obviously, and put those defensive posts. I will eventually remove one of them. But that one that you see here, I'm keeping. This one is the one that I eventually get rid of. I've enclosed this area. For the most part, I just have to snap a roof to this section, and there it is. And I've changed that front half wall so that it's got little windows. And that's pretty much the shape of this extension. It doesn't change much. And here's the completed build. Now you can see my exterior building over there on the left. And now I've patterned it off of a lot of those little warehouse, workshop areas that you'll encounter in the world, where they've got this slightly raised area that has a stair and it goes down into the workshop section. There is the extension to the main shack. And we will go first to the exterior building so that you can see what I did there. I added the defensive walls on the outside in sections so that it matches that kind of mixed up outside texture that the original shack has. See, and it actually produced kind of a little tiny sliver of a window because I used that piece of the defensive wall, which is great. You know, it's letting light in, and it looks like somebody cobbled together their wall out of junk, which is nice. And I like that these pieces of wood are kind of jutting out from side to side, and I have totally cluttered this like as if a hoarder, a regular player lived here and had collected all this junk. The kind of person that's like, why do you have like 50 of those mugs? And they just say, because I can. There's stuff everywhere here. I've even got a stash box up above the fusion generator, and I have a little shelter tucked around the back, which is perfect. It's unobtrusive and it fits with the building that it's right next to. So we're going to close up here and head to the main building so you can see what I did. Now I'm going to say that this main shack, it has a lot of clutter in it, which is good. All that extra clutter saves on your budget, and you want as much budget as you can get whenever you're building, so it's a plus. Here's that gate I mentioned earlier. So let's take a look at the inside here. I have cluttered it up. I've got a little workbench. This place already comes with a tinker's workbench and a cooking station that you don't have to place when you get here. So those are two stations you do not have to place. It's really nice to have a camp in a pre-existing location that already has two stations you don't have to worry about. Here's the inside. I've decorated right at the front. And I want to say something here for a second. See, look at all that beautiful clutter. None of that is mine except for the lamp and this stuff, obviously. And it just looks great. And I put those sleeping bags on the bed because the bed doesn't work. So I put them on in the same manner that I showed in an earlier video with that little tiny shack in the Savage Divide. You can put them on the same way that I showed you in the previous video, and they'll sit nicely, two of them. And I want to say, Bethesda, why can't we have rugs like this? Like, I want this rug. We don't have it. You need to bring it into the game for us somehow. And here, the living room, I've put these two paintings and the TV, but everything else was here. Everything else. We're gonna go to the second floor of this shack now, and the landing with the stairs. When we get to the second floor, you're going to see I put a bunch of stuff there to further clutter the area, and it's nice. You're going to have to use little rugs to sit a lot of this stuff because it won't sit. It'll pop to the top or the bottom. I put the plant and the ashtray there, but everything else, even Mr. Jangles, is here when you get here. So we're going to go out to this little porch area where I've put a toolbox and some power connectors, and this lovely Raider power armor, which is here when you get here, unless somebody's taken it, obviously. And this beautiful view of Crater. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I enjoyed this build. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you like what you see here, as always, hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you know when a new video appears. But until next time, happy building in the wasteland. Oh. Aw, not again.